I am recording on my phone, and I have Lexi on Zoom right here because she is sick with COVID right during the week that we to record our lesson. So, Lexi, how are you feeling?
Not very good, but it's getting better.
Yeah, I just have to figure out where to place my phone that's not in the middle of my screen so I can see everything.
It doesn't matter for me, your camera's at the top. I can see your phone.
Well, good. So, do you remember the maze assessment I was telling you about last week that we would be doing?
Is that the one where I have to read and pick out the words?
Yes, it gives you 3 options, and you get to pick out which one is the correct one. Once I find it on my system, I'm sorry. Did you end up playing in your last game of soccer?
I didn't get to play in the last one. I played in the first 2. I don't know if we won the last one or not, but we won the first 2, so at least 2 of the 3 for the last couple games.
Yeah. All right, I got it. You can start reading as soon as I pick up my tool to mark it. Okay. Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Sighing deeply, Jill sat on the bench in the park. A few of her school friends been lounging on the grass, spending time in the park, something they did almost every evening during the summer. And tonight, they were waiting for a local DJ to put on some music. This town is so boring, said Jill. And most of the others agreed, adding that there was nothing to do other than hang out in the park. I don't know, suggested Larry. How about hiking to the top of the cliff? We all like to do that. And what about tonight? We're going to get to dance to music that we picked out. Rita nodded her head and smiled. The best hike is the one we take after the last day of school. What about rafting the river? I think that's open. I think that's
You're
even
okay.
better than hiking the cliff, and it's a lot easier. Besides, our parents wait for us, and we have a picnic afterward. Almost everyone agreed with Rita except Gary, who argued for cross country skiing. For cross country skiing across Bay Lake. Skiing across Lake Washington is something that most people have never done. I love calling my cousin in Texas telling her how much fun it is every time we do it. By now, Jill was rethinking her comment. Okay, under this isn't as boring a place as I suggested. After all, we're only a few hours from New York City, and all of us have taken the bus there with our parents. Remember when we went in for that ice skating show? From now on, when I do that boring thing, maybe you should remind me to think before I start complaining.
Good job. No. That only took you about 3 minutes. You're getting faster. And I really like how you're self-correcting yourself when you know, like that one where you said, I don't know, suggested Larry. and then, well, I guess that's the right term. But you're doing really good. Do you feel like you're getting better?
A little bit. It's getting a little easier to pick them out and figure out which one fits in where and which ones sound right.
Yeah, it's easier when you say it out loud than when you read it in your head because it sounds correct or it sounds incorrect. Usually feels weird in your mouth, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how, yeah, it's supposed to. Oral language is weird like that. All right, well, now that we're done with that, we can go over the score next time. I'll probably take this recording and make sure I marked them all right on my end. But
can you send it to my school email after you check it and grade it and stuff?
yeah, to show your teacher too?
Yeah.
Yes, that'll be fine. Next, we're going to work on some of your sight and vocab words that we picked out with your teacher too, okay? So do you have that bingo card that I stuck in your folder too? Your mom maybe put it in the back?
I think my mom stuck it in the folder part of it.
Okay. Just let me know when you find it.
I
Okay.
got it.
So every time I say a word, you're supposed to be able to find it on your thing and be able to define it too by your teacher, okay?
Okay.
So do you have the blue chips too? The little packet with it was in a Ziploc baggie? Or did I leave those?
No, but I have little things
chips.
I can use. I have dice too.
That'll work. Just anything that'll go over top the word that you get right will work. Okay, so the first one that I have written down is summer. Can you tell me what summer is?
It's a season. It's the hottest season in the year.
Right.
Us.
For us, what do you mean by us? What makes it summer? Is there certain months?
Yeah, it's from I think May or June to August.
Right, so the summer solstice has to happen for summer to be a season, right?
Yeah.
Right. What about, you can go ahead and put a chip over there. What about length? The length of something. What would that be the definition of? Or how would you define that?
How long the measurement of something is.
Right. What can length be measured in? Can you give me a unit?
Inches and centimeters and feet.
Perfect. What about a million?
It's a really big number.
A really big number. You can go ahead and put a circle or whatever you have over length too. Can you tell me how big a number? Is it in between any numbers you know, or if there's how many zeros 1 million has?
It's over 100,000 and under a billion. It's in between there, and it has
Job.
6 zeros.
I don't even think I can count that high. 6 zeros. I think you're right. So go ahead and put a chip over there. Let's see. Let's throw a hard one at you. What about instrument? Do you know what an instrument is?
Something you can use to play music.
Perfect. So there's different kinds of instruments, right? Do you know any classes? Like, is there different kinds of instruments?
There's the string ones like violins and guitars, and then
Perfect.
the big like metal ones that you blow in.
Yeah, winds. What about the ones you hit? I'm sorry. I'm tired.
Drums.
Right, do you know what they're called and those kinds of instruments?
No.
Percussion. But that's good. You defined it very well. Let's see.
I remember that my brother did drum stuff.
He did? That's nice. Was he any good, or did it just sound like racket?
I don't know. It sounds good to kids, I guess.
To kids.
I looked up to him when he did it. Would I look at him while he did it in public now? Probably not.
Oh, poor guy. I bet it was fun when you were little, though. How about Europe? Do you know where Europe is?
Is that one in the United Kingdom?
It's over by Asia, yeah. I honestly, I can't tell you. I am not good at geometry,
country.
geography. This is why I'm tutoring you
One
in
of the
reading.
British
But
The ones with the funny British accents.
yeah, we'll just skip over that one since both of us didn't really define that very well. But how about, you have one more. What about developed? Can you give me an example of something developing, or what a development is?
Like an animal develops, like a tadpole. They develop, like the
Right.
growth of something.
It transitions into
Yeah.
something new, develops into
Like the
something new.
improvement and stuff.
To a frog. That's a good one. All right, so we're good with that. Did you end up getting a bingo? Or close?
Almost. They were in a row, but not the full board.
Not the whole O, B-I-N-G-O. That's okay. I know you're not really wanting to do this right now, so I'm thankful that you are. So we just read the last 3 chapters on holes. Do you remember where we left off? He just got dropped off to
Didn't he just get dropped off to the camp or juvie?
Camp Green Lake, right? Yeah. The judge said he was going to be going to Camp Green Lake, and he spent the first week or 2 there.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
just
he had to do that
transitioning
to the
into it.
juvie 'cause he stole. What did he steal again? Shoes.
The shoes, right? They were super expensive shoes. I think they were like $5,000 because they were an old pro athletes. Yeah. So the first question for your comprehension says, when Stanley got to camp, how was he feeling? So that has to, not just with his head, like obviously he didn't want to go to camp, so he was probably sad or mad, but what was he actually physically feeling too?
It was a desert, so he was hot. He wanted some water, and I think he was hurt somehow. I think it was because of the handcuffs.
They did it so rough that he got bruises on his wrists, right? And then his throat was hurt and he was thirsty. Good job. And do you remember Mr. Sir?
Is that the one who ate sunflower seeds?
He was kind of the mean one, the mean camp counselor, whatever you want to call him. He was in charge of them, and he had sunflower seeds. Do you know why he had the sunflower seeds sitting next to him all the time?
It was because he wanted to quit smoking.
So you remember him quitting smoking. Good job. The next one, number 3, it says, what did every camper have to do every day? Or, you know that they weren't really campers. They weren't there voluntarily, right? They were there for...
Yeah, instead of juvie. They had to dig holes.
Right, and how did they measure those holes? Do you remember what they used?
Didn't they use the shovel? You had to dig it as far down as it went and how far across.
Exactly. They all had the same shovel, well, except for one, right? One was shorter, and that's the one they fought over. But they should each measure their holes 5 feet deep and 5 feet across. Good job. Are you liking that book so far?
It's a pretty good book. I want to watch the movie because I haven't yet. I didn't know it was a thing.
Yeah, we'll get there. The book is kind of short for a book. We'll finish it and we'll watch the movie together if your mom lets us. And okay, so why weren't there any guards at the camp?
Well, I mean, the camp was in the desert. You couldn't go anywhere.
Right, there was no place to run away, so why would they need any guards to keep them in, right? Good job.
They're probably gonna die out there. The guard caught them.
Well, let's hope they just don't run away, right?
Too.
We'll see. Who was Mr. Pendinsky, the one that they were making fun of, all the campers? Do you remember who he was?
He was the counselor for them, wasn't he?
Yep, he was their tents counselor. So whoever was assigned in that tent, all of his campers and friends, he was the one that they had to talk to about their feelings and everything. But did anyone really talk to him about their feelings?
No, it didn't. He
No.
wasn't very good.
Yeah, he did not get them to open up very well. All right, number 6 is, of whom was Stanley supposed to be really afraid of? Who was he supposed to be the most afraid of? Who everyone talked about, you didn't want to get on the bad side.
The person in charge, the warden dude.
Yeah, so in the camp, they called them a warden, and we haven't met him yet, but He's supposed to be big and bad, the owner of the camp, basically. Why did Mom say Zero was nicknamed Zero? And do you remember who Mom was? He was another counselor, right? That's who they called Mr. Pendensky, Mom. And do you remember why they called him Zero?
Because he had zero thoughts. His head was empty.
Because there was nothing in his head, yeah. Good job. All right, and this is your last question. It says, why did the judge think that Camp Green Lake would help Stanley?
Because they thought it'd make him a better person and
Build his
character.
Perfect.
Because he stole his shoes.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because those shoes were over $5,000, right?
Yeah, they were a lot of money.
Crazy how expensive those were. Insane. Even though he didn't do it on purpose, right? Do you remember what happened when he was walking down the street? Just landed in his backpack. It's crazy. That's okay.
I don't
So,
remember how we got him.
I know you're feeling icky. Thank you for still seeing me this week for as long as you can.
You're welcome.
I hope you feel better.
Thank you.
Are you playing basketball or anything? Or are you just chilling for the winter?
I think for the winter I'm gonna stay in, but I might go out for softball when it warms up.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see you later.
Okay. See you. Bye.
Goodbye.